Good Sunday morning. It's hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. I'm Kate Doherty. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Ryan Muma. And, of course, joining me in studio is the marvelous Mac. I think that's what she gave. And the lovely Laura as well. As we are all here about to get on after it here today on a Sunday. Happy Sunday. Morning to everyone listening out there in the tri-states, and we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. We are Kateless today. She is out dealing with some sick kiddos, but
it is my job.
It
is your job to bring us in and do the whole Kate thing.
Okay.
It is my job to do the Kate thing. I'm going to do it every time we come in case people just catch a bit of this.
That's right, yes.
Today, I think, is the 19th.
It is.
So the 21st is the last day to apply for I Learn Scholarship, and it's the last day to submit art.
Look at you.
So if you go online, you can get those scholarship applications in. If you call Kate, you can, she'll tell you where and how to submit the art.
What's that number?
I should know because we've done it.
217-617-3568.
Okay, there we go. I got the 68 in.
That's right. See, we tag teaming. I like it. That's right.
Very nice, Ryan. You were on that.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought those up. Again, a lot of things always happening with Down Country and so very much more. And you know, people, is there anything else? Am I missing anything else?
No, that's my job today.
I don't want to
do
dive
my job
into
3
it.
times. That's my first.
Got to do the whole thing. We always talk about, obviously, a lot of different things, and sometimes it goes in vast various directions, and I'm sure this subject will be no different. We were presented a topic from Kate from Beyond
from our
the Radio
fearless
Show.
leader.
That's right. And she had the question posed for us today, and I think one for everyone, too, to really think about. But what have you learned from being around individuals with disabilities through Down Country? And I think we can broaden that to in general.
Sure.
I think just a general, generalization of that. So let's just dive into it. Mac, what have you learned, so far for people with disabilities in and around Down Country?
Okay, so this is actually a pretty good one because, well, 2 of my neighbors, Seth and Mary, very nice people in Philadelphia. Their son Ethan is disabled, but he's honestly he's pretty smart, and he's a huge fan of Mario. He does painting.
Yeah,
he loves Mario Brothers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anytime I stopped by for a fundraiser, he was always playing on his Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my high school classmates, Caleb Brown, who I don't know if you guys have met him, but he has
name
Down
sounds
syndrome
familiar.
too.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty involved with the I Learn Scholarship. I think he's gotten it twice now, and then like once or twice. And he actually goes to John Wood with me on the College for Life program, which is a program that the college does to help provide education and a sort of a college life for students with disabilities like Caleb does. Except I don't really like the term disability because I think of it as specially abled.
I love that.
Because, and of course, I know Elliot very personally. My sister babysat him a lot, and he hangs out quite a bit. And Elliot, I'm sure you guys know this, he's extremely involved in school. Like, he's in band, he's on basketball team, he's on
football as well.
And now with the football, with the Marion County North Shelby crossover, he's just, it feels like he is all over the place at once. Like, it feels like 90% of the time he's not at home, he's somewhere else.
Right.
And what I've learned from, like, specially abled individuals that I've known is that, like, it's not really about the things that they can't do. Mm-hmm. It's about, like, I feel like a lot of it is how they look at life. And a lot of it is just, like Caleb, for example, Caleb just really kind of takes everything for what it is. And he always seems to just find things to enjoy in life is the big thing. Like, I rarely ever see Caleb having a bad day. He's always happy about something. And I feel like that's a pretty good perspective to have. I mean, just always finding something to be happy about.
That's a good point. No, yeah. And I think, with that, and Laura will, give our 2 cents as well. I'd agree with that. Now, I've said this before that I didn't myself grow up around individuals with that, lived and learned differently, in some forms or fashions. I wasn't. So it wasn't until I came here to Quincy, and then obviously, met Kate, got involved, and did all that until I fully got immersed in this community, if you will, from that regard. But man, what I've learned is a lot of what you just said, Mac, just the way in which people who, have disabilities, how they view things. Like Elliot obviously is a perfect example, but it is so many others that just love life and just love, they don't know a stranger, they are very open to literally talking and doing whatever and are just outgoing, I think is the word that I would use. And to me, who, I consider myself a very outgoing person at this point in my life, they are far and away more outgoing than I could ever imagine. And that is such a positive thing. And it's something that, I look at it and I'm like, man, I wish I was more outgoing, like an Elliot or whomever you want to insert name here. That is something for me that like I kind of at this point want to strive to be is more outgoing, like individuals like that. I mean, that's the big one for me.
Absolutely. So, okay, so you said you didn't really grow up around anyone. I sort of didn't. We had a church youth group that used to go to a community home. And there was a gentleman there named John. There were several people that we met. And I grew up in Arkansas, so we did a little country music dancing.
Come on.
Little, what's that called? In a circle.
Is it true that you have to have a license done in...
Square dancing.
Square dancing.
That's right.
Is it true that down in Arkansas you need to get a license to wear shoes?
See, now you're a good Missouri boy, so you can say something like that because we grew up making fun of Missourians. So
yeah, there it is. That's right.
maybe not Missouri. Maybe we made fun of Louisianans. I mean, every state's got something.
Everybody's making fun of somebody. That's right.
But yeah, I get your point, Mac.
So what's certain is that everybody's making fun of California all the time.
There you go. There you go.
That's right.
So that was really my only exposure to any individual with any kind of disability. And I'm not talking about just, things you're born with or things that happen to you and you have an accident or, learning differently. I mean, the spectrum of disability is far and wide. To your point, Mac, is, special abilities. What can you do? That's a great way to look at life. But anyway, so I had that exposure, and much to what you both said, I can remember John, and he lived to be far older than they thought he was going to, and I don't have any idea what his actual diagnosis was. But, I mean, I was in college when he passed away, and I think he was in his 60s.
Oh, wow.
So I'm talking about a much older gentleman, compared to me in high school, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, he loved life. He was always smiling. He was so thrilled to see us. There wasn't a stranger in the room. And I do remember thinking that was odd at first. Okay, so like everyone has their personal space. John had no personal space.
Right.
Frankly, I can remember Elliot, who now knows personal space, but used to not understand personal space. And I can remember that.
Yeah.
But everyone, I mean, it's fabulous to live your life just like, woohoo, who are you? Let me meet you. No, 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 no. But for some people, it's a little bit like, whoa, wait a minute, personal space. And we should all be a little more open, but also you have to learn these social skills and all that kind of stuff, whatever. Anyway.
But I don't mean to cut you off, but that's, I think, the coolest thing about all of it is we are, I think, and I know you want to jump right back into it, but like we as a society are so nowadays more closed off and like, not as open, I think. Yeah. And I think if we look at the Elliots of the world, right?
We all want to be more like that.
Right.
I think.
But it does hit us where we're like, whoa, wait a minute.
New things are scary.
That's
there
right,
you
exactly.
go. That's precisely it. So my
New things are
point is, and
scary.
we were talking about this a little bit last week, my point is, if everyone were introduced to folks who live their life a little differently, we wouldn't be afraid. That's where I wanted to go with this conversation, is what I've learned is to not be afraid. And I'll tell a story about a different kind of disability a little later in the story.
Yeah. But I'm with you on that one. I just, it's opened my mind to want to be even more. I'm with you on that. And it's kind of helped me in some regards, as I raise my kids as well, just to kind of be more open and,
I mean, you have to do the stranger danger
Of
thing,
course.
right? I mean, you have to
Of
set
course.
some. I mean, you got 3-year-olds.
You got to have the parameters.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to set the
But-
boundaries. But
How can you be both?
right,
Kind of
that's
thing.
that's trying to define the balance, and that's with anybody. You know what I mean? To be open and willing to meet new people and do certain things, like that's with people with or without disabilities that you're constantly trying to figure out. But I do think there is a joy in wanting to take a little bit of what the Elliots of the world bring to the table and take that with you, along with your boundaries, if you will. And man, would the world be so much better, like if you were to look at it that way. I'm going to cut all of us off because we're up
it's
against
time.
it already, and we're going to come on back. We'll hear more stories from Laura, Mac, and the whole nine next, right here on Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. We'll be right back.
That was fast.
Welcome back to Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. Ryan Moomin here with you. We are Kateless. We have the marvelous Mac and the lovely Laura, and Penny also gone.
Penny poofed.
Penny poofed. She gone for today at least. But we're back and we're talking. Topic point wise is essentially what have you learned from being around individuals with disabilities through downcountry, and I think just not only downcountry but just in general, right? We kind of shared a little bit of that, each. Laura, you had kind of teased another story, if you will.
I did.
Do you want to throw that out there?
You ready?
What do you got?
You ready for it? Okay, so actually I came up with 3 before we walked in today because Kate was nice enough to give us a
3?
topic in advance.
My gosh, we just got
So
all kinds of stories.
I'll do one each segment.
I love
okay.
it. Love
All right. So my second story is actually it's definitely my third story is not a Down syndrome story. So we said we could kind of broaden the topic.
Yeah.
But my second story is still a Down syndrome. I was setting up for Rhinestone Rodeo.
What year?
And I want to say this was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was probably there.
right.
I bet you were there. Actually, okay, before I go into the story, can I just say, Mac, it's so awesome to have you on air. And before we started, I was like, okay, Mac, how do I not know you? I mean, like, you've been going to Rhinestones for
Couple of years.
couple years?
Well, like
Did you go with your family before that?
no, mostly with my FFA chapter 2.
I know exactly now. Sure.
Now it's all coming back.
Okay,
to
so
you.
the FFA kiddos
That's right.
serve the dinner.
From
and,
MCR2.
and you all are fabulous. Of course, you've graduated now.
Oh yeah, but I'm still gonna be there
You
this
still get to
year
go?
because she
Are
wants
you like
me to.
in charge?
Well, no, she wants me to go and make like announcements. But what's nice is now I'm not gonna have to wait on tables.
Oh,
Right.
you stepped up a level.
Right. Total change up.
I already have a job in foods. I don't need to be. I think I
day
get my
off.
I get my fill.
Yeah. Get
There you
fixed.
go. There you go.
You know what I mean?
All right, right.
So 2 years ago.
So
Rhinestones
anyway,
Rodeo.
okay, so Rhinestone Rodeo a couple years ago, and it was during the setup. And if both of you have been out there for setup, random people show up at random times, and everyone just pitches in and figures out what's going on, and we all just kind of help randomly, right? And it all comes together, and it's amazing every year that it comes together like it does. So there was a family that was out there, and I'm not going to say who because I don't know if she'd want me to say all this, but so I can say the story without saying who. And I had met them, but I hadn't really pieced together that they were part of the downcountry family.
Yeah.
And so kind of like with Mac, I'm like, now how do I know you? You know, kind of thing, whatever. Anyway, so during that day, the mom was out there with her 2 little kiddos and a grandma. And mom and grandma were working hard. Littlest kiddo, who happened to rock an extra chromosome, was busy with some of the girls putting out silverware or something. Somebody had her busy. And older kiddo was running around bouncing off the walls. And I just found a job and kind of said, oh, here, come help me. And, Joey, it's not his name.
Sure.
And just gave a job and started doing this. So then after this all occurred, the mom came up to me and said, I just want to thank you. And I was like, for what? And she said, you would be amazed at the people who adore my little one. just love her, want to help her, want to do anything for her.
Yeah.
But they shy away from my older one.
Right.
And this is my point with disabilities come in different packages, right? So here's a little kiddo with Down syndrome, and here's a little kiddo with a neurodivergent brain.
Right. Yep.
It's still a disability, but you can't see it on his face.
Right.
And we have to meet people where they are. And so that's the second lesson I've learned with Down Country is meeting people where they are. Because every kiddo with a disability is not necessarily that joyful, outgoing, open individual that we talked about in the first segment.
Yeah.
Disabilities look different for everyone.
They do.
Say it again, Mac. Different, not different abilities. How do I want to say this?
It's a
You said it the first.
special abilities.
Special abilities.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, I have a story myself. So this would have been 2 years ago. This was at the National Down Syndrome Conference.
Right.
And so we were volunteers at the kids camp. Mm-hmm. You know, kind of the daycare kind of service that while parents were out doing their thing at different the different conferences and whatnot. So anyways, I had my twins at the time. They were little itty bitties. They were with us. But anyways, there was this little girl, and I feel terrible because I don't remember her name, and I should have gotten her name. But anyways, she had Down syndrome, but she spoke Spanish. Mm-hmm. So her mom was super nice, but I don't know why, but we became very attached in those couple of days where anytime she would come in to the room, like, every day or after break.
Do you speak Spanish?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. My wife does a little bit. She took Spanish in college. But this little girl would run up to me and want to sit right next to me and like kind of tap me on the shoulder and wave hi and stuff, to the point where I got, thank goodness for Google, but I was trying to do like Google Translate and doing different things. So I kind of started figuring that out. But it was so cute because she would laugh because she knew that I was trying to speak Spanish and I was not doing it right. And she kept kind of giggling. And then her mom, after the fact, would come in, and I was talking to her, and she was like, "Thank you so much for just being so nice to her." I mean, not only is she, does she have Down syndrome, but of course, just the Spanish speaking and things like that being here doesn't make it easier, right? And so trying to figure all that out, she's doing that. You were very, very kind, and it was so awesome because I don't know, it made my heart happy just like being around her the whole time and everything. And then there was another one that it was an older sister who was maybe 7, and her little sister had Down syndrome and she was maybe 1, so she might have been the same age as the twins at the time. So I remember talking to this little girl, and she was very protective of her sister, like, don't make sure she's okay, like, all the time. And so I remember going up to her and like joking with her, trying to get her to relax, like, hey, you're just here to play, like, let's do the thing. And so she then, the 7-year-old would ask me, she's like, "Are those your kids?" And I said, "Yeah, those are my kids." She goes, "So you deal with babies?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I deal with babies. Yeah, that's right." She goes, "Okay, good to know." And I'm like, "What?" And so I was just so confused. She's like, "Well, I have my sister, and I need to make sure someone knows how to deal with babies." And I'm like, I'm looking around, and I'm looking at all these parents. I'm like, "I know all these parents have dealt with kids too, but that's fine." But it was like she felt comfortable with it. So there was one point where they needed to change a diaper. Oh. And she was like, "You change diapers?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so she asked me to change diaper, and so I did. But like the comfortability with it, and then the little girl, who was, like I said, was like 1. She was very much like unsure, like any baby, unsure of who's who. But she got attached to me. And so like I was holding her. She didn't want anybody else really to hold her. I was holding her. So the 7-year-old actually would go and play. So she wasn't just always there. So it kind of gave her almost a break too, even though she really didn't need to be
That's actually a really
way.
good point. I noticed that in kids camp a
Right,
lot.
right.
Yeah.
And so she got to have a little bit of a break while I played with the little one who was the same age as my little one. So they all played. So it was just kind of fun to see. I know it's kind of off on a tangent here, so I apologize. But like, even I think this actually goes to a separate point to the little girl who she doesn't have necessarily the disability herself, but is so, we'll use the word protective of her sister. There is that's a huge compliment to individuals like that, to kids who also get older, who are just really good at their siblings and things like that. But how they open their minds to certain things, but like if you're able to give them a break, that's kind of, I don't know if there's something in there, but like it just was a really cool moment that I tip the cap to even individuals that are family members that do so much for their counterpart, if you will, and I don't think they get enough credit in some of this stuff too.
Absolutely.
I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because I noticed that in kids camp too, but
Yeah.
I can remember Olivia giving the keynote address at Rhinestone probably 5-6 years ago.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know if
yeah.
you were there, Mac.
That probably would have been before I started.
Okay.
FFA,
Yeah.
So probably not.
So Olivia's talk was awesome because her talk was, he's just my little brother.
Yeah, right.
And if he doesn't behave, I'm going to kick him around like I do my little sister, who's quote unquote neurotypical.
Right.
I mean, her whole talk was, I grew up in this family, and this family functions the way any family does.
Yeah.
And yes, he happens to rock an extra chromosome, but he's just my little brother.
No doubt.
And I mean, I can't tell you all the stuff she said,
But I remember this. I know what you're talking
but
about.
it was
yeah.
such a great talk, because I do think a lot of the siblings are extra protective or whatever. I went out to DC with Down Country and advocated on the Hill for people with disabilities, Down syndrome in general. We were looking for money for studies, for scientific research. And I met a sister there who said it had never occurred to her. She was really tight with her brother growing up, but then she went off and did her whole life. I mean, this woman's in her 50s. And it had never occurred to her that someday her folks were going to get older.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she was going to be responsible. And so she had reached that point in her life, and she didn't begrudge it one little bit, but all of a sudden she had a ton to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so siblings do play, and I guess that's one more thing I've learned in this community,
No doubt,
is how these families, step up.
Do their thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wave at you guys. We're gonna hit another break. We're gonna come back with our third and final segment already, which this has been flying by.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Kate that makes it drag on. It's probably Kate. It's gotta be
Oh,
Kate.
don't tell her that.
I don't know. I think that's the problem.
Well, it's
here.
too late. She's probably going to see
Yep.
this on
She's gonna see
Sunday.
it. She's
You're
gonna
getting
see it.
fired.
It's out there in existence.
I have a feeling
That's
Denise
right.
is taking that clip for the,
Oh,
for the Facebook.
100%.
You're getting fired.
100%. That's right. And I will wear it proud. So nonetheless, though, we're going to take a quick time out. Come on back. This is Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. Ryan Moon here with you. Kateless, penniless, but the marvelous Mac, and we have the lovely Laura as well, getting after it.
I forgot second segment.
Oh, no!
Today is the
What are we doing?
19th.
That's right.
In 2 days, can't believe I was going to say it 3 times. Well, I said it twice.
Goodness.
In 2 days, the iLearn scholarships are due. Go to www.upatdowncountry.com.
That's right.
UPAT, not the at sign.
That's right.
Downcountry.com.
Okay.
And make sure you apply for those iLearn scholarships. And then the second thing is art is also due in 2 days.
Right.
So 10/21 is the date. And make sure you call Kate or get online or get some information if you have.
217-617-3568 is the number to call for all things Down Country.
That's right.
But, maybe we do need Kate. She would have done that 3 times. That's good.
She would have done it 3
Yeah,
times.
I mean,
I was given one
You did
job.
a good job, though.
I mean, I could do it at the end and still do it 3 times.
Well,
but
to be
whatever.
fair, you don't got the full calendar out in front of you like
That-
Kate. That
Okay,
thing's like
that is a
That's
good
a good
point. I'm
point.
not sitting with the color-coded.
Right.
that thing's like as thick as like an old style King James Version Bible. Like, you know what I'm talking? One of the
I
big
know
ones,
exactly what you're talking
like
about.
one of the big ones that like one of your older aunts or grandma has that just sits on a table.
Exactly.
It's like
It's the-
one of those
it's-
huge ones.
It's the Bible of down country.
And what cracks me up is the color-coded pens up to
100%.
the outside.
Yeah.
She's got to have everything color coded.
Color
Hey.
coded. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It works.
It works. It works for her.
So you got one more story, Laura, and then Mac. Of course, if you have anything else too, we'll throw it out.
Okay.
You got anything you want to throw out there?
She
first?
can go first.
Okay.
All right, you be
Laura, what
thinking
do we
of
got?
a
Because
story.
she's been chomping at the bit to
She
get this
has
fourth.
been. You got the
I
third
get
story.
this third one in.
My 3 stories. Okay, so my third story is not a downcountry story. So I know I've mentioned this before on air, but my mom, she's 79 now. At age 75, she was diagnosed. She's always had a heart murmur, but it was never any big deal. Well,
Yeah.
all of a sudden she had that replaced. But she just went downhill and downhill and downhill. And by the time she had her heart surgery, she was in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk. And everyone said, well, it's we're not pumping oxygen. We're not, your limbs are deteriorating because of the oxygen. You'll be fine post-surgery. Well, post-surgery, she wasn't fine. Turns out she had a spinal tumor.
Oh wow.
So by the time my mom had spinal surgery, it had been maybe 18 months to 2 years, and she was paraplegic.
Oh wow.
So this is a story of a disability that you're not born with, that you don't know how to live with, that you're not necessarily joyful about.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. So post surgery of the spinal tumor, because now it's 2 major surgeries in a row, she spent 6-8 weeks in a rehab unit with full therapy and and at some point in that time frame, maybe a month in, they told her she'd never walk again. It really changes your perspective on disabilities, right?
100%.
Well, then they told her she was going to have to go home and re-outfit her kitchen for a wheelchair.
Oh my.
And all of a sudden, my mom started working really hard. And my mom, praise the Lord, is walking today.
Oh wow.
So, I guess sometimes you just got to make people mad because she wasn't about to refit that kitchen.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, she worked her tail off. So she worked hard at that. Anyway, the thing that I learned, I learned a lot of stuff. First of all, my mom's a warrior. But the thing that I learned about that was actually something so simple that had never occurred to me. And I'm a little embarrassed to share this, but I think it's really important. I don't know what the men's room is like. You both have, a different room than I have that you have to walk into.
Right.
But whether it's an event or a restaurant or a concert at the junior high, because I'll tell that in a second, whatever, there's a handicap stall for a reason.
Good point. Yeah.
And the ladies' room, as I'm sure you all have seen all the memes and the jokes, the line can get really long. And people in wheelchairs, it takes a fair amount to get into the big stall,
Yeah.
to hoist yourself onto the seat because you're transferring from one seat to another and you can't move the bottom half of your body.
No doubt.
So it's kind of a big deal. So I now, after several experiences over the year and a half or so that my mom was in the chair, I now not only won't use a handicap stall, have I used one since then? Probably, but I just really tried hard not to use that at all and leave it open. But but now I also advocate for people, not just my mom, which I had to do several times, but I was at a symphony concert at the junior high not too long ago, and there was a lady there that I had no idea who she was, and the line was a mile long, and I walked up to the front of the line, and I said, "Excuse me, whoever is coming out of that stall," and I said it to the 2 or 3 people that were in the front of the line, because that's tiny bathrooms, only a couple people were up there. I said, "Can you just keep that stall open? There's a lady back here in a chair, and she's going to need extra time." You know what? Everyone was so nice to me.
Yeah.
And then I told everyone afterwards, I'm like, I don't know her.
Uh-huh.
I just was trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And everyone was like, "Oh, of course." Once you say something, people are like, "Oh my gosh, yes, definitely." Now, I was also with my mom in Europe recently. We went on a lovely trip together. And in the airport, she was in a wheelchair because that's an awful long way to walk. I wasn't sure what to do there. Here I have spoken up for this random stranger, and I was like, I don't know if I should speak up for my mom because I don't know what the customs are here or whatever.
Yeah.
So I kind of walked up to the front and poked my head around. Well, they have bathroom attendants in airports in Europe.
Really?
And she spoke English, and I said, "My mom's in a wheelchair," and she said, "Bring her on up."
Oh wow.
And they made sure the door stayed open. I brought her around. Now then I had to go get in the line, of course, and stand there forever.
Right.
So then my mom was waiting on me once she was out. But my point is, I do think everyone's aware of this.
Yeah.
If you just think a little.
You think, yeah.
And
No, that's a fair point because again, I think that's also not maybe necessarily a what's the word I'm looking for? Not on purpose. You know,
No,
but
I
you
don't
just
think
something-
anyone does it
no,
on purpose.
No. I feel you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's on purpose at all. I think to your point,
It's just
think about it a little bit. You know that is a huge point. Yeah.
I mean, we can get so caught up like doing our own things that like
Yep.
some and like not that it's bad. It's just
Right.
It's just like we're trying to focus on our life and like what we probably need to do and like it's just
I mean, especially
really
if
have some
you
time
have
to
to
give it
go,
thought.
right?
Right,
You
yeah,
have to go.
that's a good point.
But if you're just, a little more aware of people's needs,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's the third lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. I think with this whole topic at hand and all of it, I think it's opened my eyes to understanding or trying to. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
trying
good
to
point.
understand, the way in which people with disabilities of any variety kind of have to approach things and or need help or don't need help or how whatever. It's definitely opened my mind.
And don't help if they don't need help, by the way.
100%.
I mean, would you agree with that, Mac? I mean, like,
yeah,
do people...
like if they want to help themselves, then
Yeah.
if they say that they can do it, then I think it's just fair to let them.
Yeah.
If they, like let them exercise that independence.
Yeah.
That is a big thing, like, because I think sometimes we get so caught up in, well, they just need help. And it's like, well, no, it's not 100% the truth.
Ask them if they want it first.
100%. 100%.
It's just
And go that route, that's
Yeah.
a fair point. I mean, look, I think, through all of us, before we sign off here, it's been a really good show.
Yeah.
Mac, did you have anything you wanted to throw out there before we signed off? I didn't want
I feel like one of the best ways that we can see this is, in my personal experience, like in schools, like how independent they really can be.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's the funny thing. So Elliot and Caleb have some very unique eating habits.
to. Right.
So, Caleb is a huge fan of ranch, and I don't like ranch. I can't stand it. I don't understand why anybody likes it.
My goodness.
But I once saw Caleb have like 4 or 5 cups of ranch with 1 slice of pizza.
Oh, my God. Oh,
And
my.
I was like, hey, man.
That's
And
a
I'm like,
love of ranch, man.
it's like, Caleb, you good there? And he's like, yeah. It's just, and then one time I also saw Elliot like grab 4 or 5 separate school hot dogs and eat them not eat them in a single sitting, but like keep going back and forth
Oh
to
my
where the
God.
lunch ladies had to cut them off.
Uh-huh.
No, but it's like, I feel like a lot of it is just like they're their own people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they all have their own personality and they're all great. It's just, a lot of the time it just takes the noticing there to kind of see them. Because a lot of the time we only take it on the surface level, like we just see the disability sometimes. But like, there's a person there. Like there's a unique person there with their own mind and with their own kind of likes and dislikes and all that. Like there's a person there.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. I think
Absolutely.
that's a perfect way to end it as well. There's a person there, no doubt, and I think we just all
Yeah.
need to recognize that. Well, Mac, Laura, it's been awesome chatting up with you guys here today.
Great.
That's right. And we hope.
leave me hanging.
Oh, don't leave. That's right. And again, hope you guys enjoyed, obviously the show here today. We'll be back at it again next Sunday. But for now, this is #everyone talking about #everything. Have a great rest of your Sunday.